Well, let's talk about what you're hearing out there from sellers.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Financially Free Realtor. Leslie, thank you for always being here. I appreciate that. So,
Good morning,
what's the
James.
topic we got today?
Well, let's talk about what you're hearing out there from sellers.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's always a fun topic, especially right now. So, it's all over the place. So, where do you want me to start?
Okay, so when you're talking to sellers who are thinking about selling on the phone, like what are the reasons they're thinking of selling right now?
So, a big part of them, there's two types of sellers that we're having right now, right? Those that want to cash in on the equity and try to catch the market while it's still high, and others that are having to sell for estate purposes or moving out of state, or even some are moving out of country. I've had like 3 people that are moving out of country: Costa Rica, Europe, and then down to Mexico, which has just been kind of crazy. So I've never had that.
Retired or remote workers?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are deciding if, it's time to do what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing though is a lot of sellers wanting to cash in on the equity that they have, right? So your conversation, for me at least, is going over pricing and what the days on market are. So like when we did our market stat, just our last video for August, just going over those market stats and letting them know, like, we're not at 8 days on market anymore year over year. We're at 35 days. We have 25% less closings than we did year over year from August of last year to August of this year. Then you're looking at different prices, right? So pricing in Prescott compared to pricing in Prescott Valley, whereas pricing in Prescott Valley is sold for more than they did year over year in Prescott Valley. And the ones in Prescott year over year have actually gone down. So in terms of what the median sales price is. And then you look at some of the rural areas like Paulden and Chino and whatnot, those are still staying pretty strong, but they're down a little bit. But I just recently went on a listing appointment, and it was an estate sale. The lady's dad had passed away and the mom was in hospice and whatnot. So we went out to that appointment, and that was somebody that actually had to sell, right?
And they were selling so that they could pay. Well, mom was in hospice. So
and they had a reverse mortgage on it. So we were going over all the reverse mortgage wasn't too bad. So it was still pretty low mortgage. So we had some time to kind of capture that and whatnot. But I think the biggest thing to look at was just what was their motivation? Why did they need to move? So when I initially went to that listing appointment, I was referred by a friend, right? So go to the appointment. I bring one of my team members who's brand new, and I really want to show her how a listing appointment works. So we go to the appointment. First thing she says is, "Hey, my brother's not here, so I can't sign anything today, but I would like to go over all the documents." So we go through the home. We build the rapport, which is everything that we do from the get-go, right? We introduce ourselves, build the rapport, take a tour of the home. Some coaches will want you to, just have them sit at the table while you do the tour. Kind of save some time. I use that tour to build rapport and see what they like, what they don't like, and honestly try to see how I can get them to like me and make sure that we're on the same level and to see where that motivation is at. So I use that way when I get to the presentation, I know what their key points are of why they want to move, what price they kind of want to sell at, and then what things they like and don't like. Because I think people buy from people that they like, right? So that's always important.
And they want to feel listened to, and they want to show you what they've done in their home or what they've really enjoyed about their home. And I think that makes a difference if they feel you understand that. Because the people that are going to buy that home, maybe it has a really great fireplace, and they're going to really want a great fireplace or great view or great backyard, whatever that is. And if you've listened, that makes a huge difference.
So after we do the tour of the house, right, we sat down at the table, we started talking about pricing, right? That's the first thing we started talking about. She's like, "Man, my dad got offered $350 like 6 months ago for this house." And I'm looking at the comps, and it's an older manufactured home. It's on acreage, which is nice, and it's got a good location, but it's older, it's outdated, and you're just not going to get that price right now, that $350. So I went in at $275. We had to meet at $299 because the brother wanted to. But while I was there at the appointment, actually, another real estate agent had showed up that her brother had set up the appointment. So as I'm going through the listing presentation, she's starting to sign documents now, right? So at the beginning, she said that she wasn't going to sign, but we showed enough value. We showed the stats that we knew. And she's like, wow, you guys came totally prepared. I mean, you have the market stats here. You have the presentation of what your team does for the marketing, but not only what they do for the marketing, but what sales you've done in the past to really show them that we can get the job done. So I thought that was huge, right? And my team member was like, I can't believe you pulled that off. Like, we actually got that signed after she said she wasn't going to sign because her brother wasn't there. I think one of the biggest things
they put up their defense. That's just because they don't have enough information yet.
For sure. Exactly. They don't have enough information. They don't feel completely comfortable. That's why you got to build that rapport with them during the listing presentation. And for me, I have a 3 and a 5-year-old kids, right? And then I have my lovely wife. And if I'm going to take time away from them, I want to make sure I'm doing my best dang presentation that I can, so that I'm not walking away from that appointment empty-handed and the time was used correctly. So for her to say that she wasn't going to sign and then she's signing as the next real estate agent is coming was just, it was monumental for me. It was nice to have that, because even when you have somebody like myself that's sold over 1,000 homes with our team, so when somebody says that to you and you're able to show enough value and you're able to build that rapport to get them to sign, it's just huge for me, you know. And I got a price pretty much where we wanted to, right? I wasn't just taking the listing and take the listing, which I think unfortunately a lot of agents will do, which in some markets will work. Like, what, 6 months ago, that would have been great, right? The last 2 years would have been great, but not in this one.
What I heard at the beginning of what you were saying in that story, which I thought was really great and is the most important thing, like you said, don't take it just to take the listing, but you have to set the right expectations. You have to go through and tell them what's happening with the market right now, you know, find out what they think is happening and show them what is happening so that you can get on the same page. And setting those expectations is going to make such a difference as you go through the listing period and the transaction with that seller. Because if they're thinking, oh, it should have been at, you know, 350 and you haven't set that expectation, and then an offer comes in at 299, they're going to not want to take it. But now, since you've educated her, now she gets an offer, you know, in the high twos, she'll be more likely to take it and more likely to have a smooth transaction.
Yep, exactly. And I think that that's huge. What you said is finding out what they think of the market. That way, you know what an objection is going to be, right? That's why I'm building that rapport while I'm doing the walkthrough of the house.
So important.
Again, I know I keep going back to this, but building the rapport, find out what they think the market's doing, find out what the pricing is, find out what maybe their objections might be while you're doing that walkthrough. That way, when you get to the table, you've already made mental notes of that. And so I went over that with my team member after we got done with that appointment and said, these are the key points that I looked for, and this is where I hit. And it worked out well this time. And, you know, if you do that correctly and it's pre-qualified, the appointment, you're probably going to land about 75% of those.
Right. Know? But get that appointment and get there early. Don't wait, because, you know,
well, it's funny.
Give them time to schedule more. If someone else is coming, you want to get there first.
Well, I try to get there 10 minutes early, right? I try to be at the door 5 minutes before the appointment starts. My team member was late. She's like, I got stuck behind some slow traffic, but I still went to the door, because when I graduated high school, one of the speakers said, to be on time is to be late. To be left is to be left behind. To be early is to be on time, right? So 5 minutes early, you're on time at that point. And people like the punctuality. So it all starts from the beginning, right? The first conversation that you're going to have, to getting to that door, to building their rapport, figuring out what their objections are going to be, to working those objections when you get to the table, and just bringing all the information that you can so that they know that you're the actual expert, and being confident in it too, you know, being able to carry a conversation.
Sure. Well, that's why the Michener team's the best.
Yeah. We're 200 and a little over 202 sales right now. I don't know the exact, but it's been a really good year. So
well, I know that I did some stats on your team, and they're all up over last year, which is really truly amazing. So
it's been awesome.
Yeah, great job. Well, it's been great talking to you again, James. Thanks for telling me about that listing presentation. And remember, you know, set those expectations and build that relationship.
Absolutely. So conversations with the sellers from the get-go, and then leading into, you know, showing enough value where you're actually going to get that signature, so you're not wasting your time and not wasting their time as well. They want that information just as bad as you want to give it, and they want to be able to sign and get the process over with just as soon as you want to get that on the market and get sold for them.
All right. So thank you, go ahead and put in the comments if there's something that you want James and I to talk about in a future, and we'll listen to it, or we'll listen to you and we'll talk about it in our next videos. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.